Hey guys, welcome back. I'm gonna do another little video for you guys today. This one's, as usual, probably gonna be a little random. Focusing on a project that I've had sitting around for quite a while. It's been on the back burner for quite a bit, and honestly won't be finished. But I'm just gonna show you what's going on with it. What I got is it's a 17 horse Murray. It's got a Kohler engine on it. It's a riding mower. Um, I'll grab you the. I do have it torn apart right now, so this is what we're dealing with. For those that are curious, this is the engine cover off the top of the motor. It's a 17 horse Briggs and Stratton. If I said Kohler, I meant Briggs. I have a couple of Kohlers, so I get them mixed up. It's a vertical shaft engine. I believe it's a 42-inch cut mower. I'll show you the mower here in a second. Got it from my uncle for free. He kind of gave up on it. He was having all sorts of problems with it and finally just said heck with it and bought himself a different mower. Uh, I got a wild hair and decided, hey, I'm going to try and give this thing another go, see if I can fix it. Well, it turned into a bit more of a project than I was capable of at the time, and I was a little squeamish about working on it. Here's something that you guys need to understand about me. I know a lot of you guys have probably dealt with small engines in the past when you were growing up. You probably started out working on them. I was kind of the oddball. I kind of skipped over that phase and went straight to automotive stuff. So the small engine stuff, albeit simple, was just something I was never familiar with. I've never torn into one. The most I've ever done is pull a cylinder head off, which I showed a brief clip in another video of one running. Unfortunately, I didn't show you me taking it apart. What had happened to that engine was a screw came out of the air cleaner assembly and found its way into the cylinder head and dinged it all up real bad. And I thought it was junk. I didn't know this had happened. It just quit running on me. Anyway, to make a long story short, I ended up pulling the head off of that and noticed, oh man, it's all dinged up, but nothing bad happened for some crazy reason. And I'll show you the mower right here, just to prove to you guys that it still runs. Like I said, there's the mower right there in question. That's the YTH 150. We'll see if it starts. It might be out of gas, but we'll give it a try anyway. Sitting on the mower now because you have this little safety thing you got to sit on it. So we'll see if it starts. If it doesn't, well, it's out of gas. I'll put it on choke. We got it idled down and it's still running pretty darn good, so not bad for pulling something apart that looked like a bolt was banging around on the inside of the cylinder. We'll shut her off and bring you to the feature this is about, I guess. And you know, we're talking about other mowers there. There's my other riding mower. That one runs fine. It's been sitting in the same place for a little while. I'll flip the seat back up so I don't get water on stuff. Anyway, here's the mower in question. Yes, it's going to look a little tore apart because, well, it was kind of beat up when I got it, and I got to deal with a few other things with it. Sorry, I'm blocking the camera. Yeah, there's the mower in question right there. So that's a Murray. I got the engine covered up. I was getting these random packages in the mail that I didn't order. I think it was some sort of scam deal. Well, I never got charged for them, and I figured, hell, this is a kiddie swimming pool. I don't have any kids. I don't have any use for it. It's an inflatable kiddie swimming pool. And I just kind of laughed going, I don't know, I could throw some drinks or something in it and make like a little thing out of it. Well, it was just sitting on my porch and I didn't know what to do with it. Well, I tore this motor apart and it sits outside obviously because that's all I got to work out of. This is this little shed here. And yes, that's a heater on the door. That's for wintertime. I got my motorcycle parked in there right now. But anyway, this mower here says she's seen better days. Surprisingly, the crappiest tire on the whole mower. This one holds there. The good front tire, though, she's flat. So this is pretty much a stock cheapy buy or Boloco box store mower. It's nothing special, but I thought this mower would have potential. It's got a 17 horse Briggs engine on it, which is probably worth, I don't know, $500-600 just the motor. So I was just like, I'd really like to fix this thing and at least get it running. I got it tore down right now. I got all the plastics and stuff, and this is what it looks like currently. And we got the, as you can see, she spins over. Piston's moving up and down. There's TDC or exhaust stroke. I don't know, one of the two. Anyway, I pulled the cylinder head off because what was happening with this mower was I actually put a different carburetor on it, which I don't know if you can see right there. So this video is going to be a little wonky. I apologize. You can see the carburetor. I put a different carburetor on it, hoping that would solve the issue, but when it's running, it's just chugging out black smoke, and I don't know why. Looking at the cylinder bore and stuff, it's not all scratched up or anything like that, so kind of going, what the heck's going on here? I got a sock shoved in here for a rag, and there's your, I assume, a solid lifter, I guess you would call that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a mower expert. I don't know a lot about them. Just starting to kind of get into this stuff. It's a little different from automotive stuff, so I'm still learning. So I apologize to some of you guys who are just going, come on, man, this should be easy. You should figure that out in like 5 minutes. Well, I don't have experience with them, so I'm kind of learning. Automotive stuff is different. If you guys are around automotive stuff, you'll agree with me. It's not the same. However, that Husqvarna I was talking about there, that thing actually has hydraulic lifters like a car, and they're about the same size as a car hydraulic lifter, which I was like, what? And I pulled them out of the bores and stuff and inspected them, make sure they weren't damaged, and no, they're in good shape. So shoved it back together, put a new head gasket on it, and I just cleaned up all the nicks and stuff, kind of got the sharp edges off of the cylinder head and the block, or the piston, I guess you would say, because they had a bunch of, like, for example, this piston here is nice and smooth. The other one had a bunch of dings. It looks like somebody, took a freaking punch and was hitting the piston with it, but it didn't crack it. It wasn't on the sides over by the cylinder bore. It was just in the middle area. So I said, well, we'll run it like that, and well, as you heard earlier, it runs. So not bad for just a quick little fix on a cheapy mower. I saying this Murray mower is a cheap box store mower. That Husqvarna is right in there with it. That Husqvarna mower, if you were to buy something like that now, you're probably looking at over $1,000. So that mower I bought, that Husqvarna, was $100 from boss's kid. Was getting rid of it. He got a zero turn from his dad, and said he didn't need this one anymore. I probably put about $300 into that mower though to get it running, or well, not running, but to get mowing again. The towers were screwed up on it. The bearings were going out, and it kept burning up belts. And yeah, after basic maintenance and things like that, about say $300 later, is what it is right now, and that's including the head gasket and everything else I did to it. Never touched the carburetor or any of that stuff on it. It is all how it was when I got it. I don't know any history on it, other than the fact they said the hydro had been rebuilt on it. But anyway, back to the Murray mower. Like I said, I'll jump around back and forth between stuff just because it's all small engine stuff. So trying to make content, I guess. This mower, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it. I am far from a mower expert. These are just things I've been, I don't know, collecting, kind of learning a little bit as I go. This mower here is actually probably a pretty good learning tool for me, just because I don't know anything on it, other than I believe I bought a starter solenoid for it, because it won't start with the key. The only way you can start it is if you jumper the solenoid. And in the process of me doing that, it got hot and it melted one of the terminals off of the terminal, or on the solenoid. So I can't remember if I put another one on it or I got it in the box. I can't remember. It's been sitting for quite a while. Like I said, it got put on the back burner. I had it running. It was running really rich, and you couldn't rev it up, and you couldn't really do a whole lot with it. I tried adjusting the valves, and it started. That was the big thing. It started. And when I first got this mower, it'd been sitting for probably 5 years outside, because he had it parked on the backside of his garage and just kind of said hell with it. There was weeds and stuff growing up around it. I drug it out of there with my I got a little I'll see if you can see it from here. You can see out there's my blue pickup with that trailer behind it. That's my mower trailer. That'll fit a 42-inch deck riding mower on it fairly easily. And that's what I use to haul this stuff. I actually installed, I'll give you a quick tour of the trailer. Not that most of you care, but this was actually, tired of story here. Right there, that Snapper YT16 riding mower. I paid $175 for this mower, that trailer, and a snow blade that was universal. It didn't really fit on this mower, but I made it fit. I had to make a bracket for the front of it so it would mount. I ended up not using that snow blade because, which now today you might be able to see it over there by that tree. There's a snow blade up there, which I fitted to this pickup. It's not made for this big of a truck. It's made, I had a 01 Jeep Cherokee that it used to be mounted on. I'll show you the snow blade real quick and then we'll walk over to the trailer and kind of show you what's going on with it. And then after that, I might give you a peek of my pickup. I just thought about it. I got that Ford Ranger pickup that I always have been talking about, but I've never shown on camera, at least not in detail. This one, I'll give you a quick walk around it. I don't have keys for it at the moment, so. Anyway, here's the snow blade that we got here. This is actually a Denali snow plow. I bought it a couple years ago. It actually worked really good. I have really no complaints with it. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. I splurged a little bit extra. This was an expensive blade. $3,600 I think I spent on it, which seems like a lot, but try to buy a real snow blade. This one is a simple one. It doesn't have the big massive mount like you do on a typical snow plow. This one uses a front receiver hitch, and I was able to get one for my 01 Cherokee and it mounted to it, which I can show you right here. This is how it mounts to your vehicle. You slide it in here, put a pin through it, and then it uses an electric winch to raise and lower the blade. And then I splurged and got the electric tilt, so you can go side to side so you can angle the blade as you're going. Otherwise, you have to get out and pull a pin and push it manually like you would on like a cheaper tractor or lawnmower snow blade. And I wasn't a fan of that, so I just said, heck with it. Nope, we're going to get the electric assist arm, which is right there. That unit's probably about $1,000 just to buy, which is kind of stupid. But I was just like, you know what? It's dumb not to have it. Let's do it. The one thing that this blade did not come with, though, unfortunately, I had to make this bracket for it. This is just angle iron. I figured it doesn't need to be anything fancy. It blocks the lights when you lift it up, especially did on my Jeep. The pickup, it doesn't quite block the lights, but it blocks the turn signals, so you can't see the front turn signals. Something that I ended up doing was I got these LED lights. They're high and low beam lights. They have turn signals built into them, which I thought was like, hey, that's a great idea. And had to do some wiring and stuff, and I wired it into, I used 2 trailer plugins, one for the left, one for the right, and then I teed it into the factory headlight harness to make the headlights work, kind of almost like you would do for like a Western or trying to think of your other brands. Western's the one that's coming to mind at the moment. You guys know what I'm talking about. The more name brand snow plows. But anyway, we'll go show you the mower trailer. I said on the theme of mowers today, I guess, until I'm not. Give it 5 minutes, we'll change topics. Anyway, walking our way over. Like I said, this is the area I gotta, there's pretty much, as you can see, I gotta mow a fair amount all the way up to the road there, which I don't even know if you can see that, but all the way up to the road there I gotta mow. And then I don't really have to mow this area back here, but it looks crappy if you don't. This is all grown. This when I first moved out here, which I said tangents already, but just kind of giving you guys a scope of what I got to do. This is almost tractor territory, but I just don't have the width here to get a real tractor in here. So I'd be using like a 4.9 and 8 like that kind of small stuff with like a 5-foot mower behind it. That'd be about ideal. Anyway, when I first moved out here, this is a barn. I think a horse or cattle barn before. There's no big doors on it, so to me it's a useless building. I rent this property, and landlord's like, yeah, you can use this barn. I'm like, for what? What are you gonna put in here? This is the door on one side of it. It's a, I don't know, maybe 4-foot door, maybe, and you can't do anything because it's not like, I can show you the ground here. There's a big gap. You can't really drive stuff into it or anything, so I couldn't even theoretically put a mower or anything in there. It's decent size inside there, but it's all lumped up because one of the previous renters shoved all the hay out of the hayloft, and there's like a feeders that were built into this. This is an old barn. There were hay feeders built into the front, and they kind of angle down and get tight at the bottom, so as the horses eat, it's like a gravity feeder, if you'll call it that. Well, we shoved it all down in there, and of course the boards had rotted on the feeders. Well, it's all this hay is just laying in there. It's just a mess. So the hayloft's actually in pretty good shape in there. So it's too bad I can't use it for anything. And at one point it did have electricity running into it, but somebody had knocked the line down, so it's not there anymore. Anyway, like I said, this is the area I got to mow, or the area I choose to mow. And like I said, it was the weeds that were out here when I first moved. Oh, they were probably, see that top hinge on the door there? They're about that tall. Or here's an even better representative. See all these weeds growing here? This is how tall this was back here. This is all hemlock and hemp, whatever, hemp weed. It's not the stuff you smoke, in case you guys are wondering. Don't do that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a pretty decent sized area back here to mow. So if people are wondering, well, that's not that big, you can mow that pretty quick. You can, but I hate mowing, so the quicker I get done mowing, the better. And this is the remnants of my of the carport that was out here when I moved. It was originally over by the house, but it was in the way of that little work shed. So I moved it. I had my car parked in here for a while, my Dodge Challenger. Well, since this is an old building, mice are in here, and they kept getting into my car. That was no bueno, and yeah, dealt with that quite a bit. The car smelled awful. It smelled like a freaking grain truck in there. It was bad. Nice car. I was very upset about that. This thing here, I had put 3 sets of tarps on it to try to keep it nice. Well, the wind just kept destroying them. So finally I just said hell with it. Parked the car outside, and I know that's not ideal, but I don't have a lot of money to spend on buildings and such. Plus, like I said, I rent. I don't own this property. So I try to avoid buying stuff like that. That's a fixture, if you will. The fanciest thing I got here is that carport. I put that up. Well, with help, I had my brother and my dad help me put it up, because putting a carport up by yourself, it probably can be done, but it is definitely not an easy task. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. Going to move back to the trailer I got as a package deal. I said about the Snapper YT16 mower. Came with the snow blading, came with some snow cables. And anyway, we got this guy with it, which honestly, it's a home built trailer made out of a bunch of random stuff. I did not build this trailer. I did modify it, however, because originally it had a goofy hitch on it, which I was not a fan of. I made this hitch, and I understand some of you are going to be wondering what the heck kind of welding job is that. It makes it work. And I'm also using a very light duty 110 welder to weld this stuff. I know it's definitely not ideal, but I just try to make work with what I had. And honestly, I haven't had any problems. I don't put a lot of weight on this trailer. The heaviest mower I've had on there is that John Deere 300 riding mower, which probably weighs another, I'd say 40 pounds more than my other mowers do. That Snapper riding mower, which you can see way over there, the red one, that mower's not light. That's actually kind of a heavy mower. That Husqvarna mower and that Murray mower, they don't weigh that much at all. They're very light. I can actually pick up the front end of that Husqvarna mower. So, you just do a deadlift on it, and I can pick it up and move it off the deck, because it has that nice, we'll call it a push bar or whatever you want to call it, bumper thing on the front of it. You can just pick it up and then pirouette it around and get the deck out from underneath it. I had to do it a couple times to change belts and replace the towers and blades and stuff on it. Anyway, back to the trailer. If you're wondering, there's something going on with this tire here. Yeah, you can see that it's very lightweight steel that's just made out of, I believe, there we go. These are stock racks, I think, off of like a truck at one point. I think that's what these actually are. These are old stock racks. And I think the guy was about, a 30 pack in when he started making this trailer. There are some angle issues. I think there's about a 1/2 inch difference side to side. I was measuring some stuff trying to center the axle up, and I just went, we're gonna have to fudge it. The axle's not straight. It's about a 1/4 inch off of center. And he already had the purchase and stuff welded. I wasn't gonna cut stuff and redo things. Plus, he already has these very odd fenders. They're tough fenders. I'll give it that. They're pretty thick plate. But here's the weird thing about this trailer, and I'm not a huge fan of. They're open on the inside, which, why would you do that? I don't know. It's not a very smart idea, in my opinion. Stuff gets stuck in there. If you're hauling, I've used this back before I had my pickup, I had my Jeep. I used to haul tree branches and stuff on this. They get stuck in the wheel wells. Like I said, it was a late night, buddies were over drinking, let's build a trailer kind of thing. The one thing I will give this trailer, these ramps. Good idea. They're not detachable. They're stuck to the trailer. They use these chains to hold them up, and I approve. They're actually pretty good. My dad, however, decided that having this sharp 90-degree like that's not a very good idea for loading up mowers and stuff, which I agreed with. So he made these nice little, I don't know what you want to call them, angled pieces, so it sits flush on the ground like a proper trailer ramp should. And honestly, they work perfect for what I need it for. They're not heavy-duty ramps. I mean, they are built surprisingly well. You got 3 pieces of angle iron holding it, which is pretty good for a mower trailer. Probably heavier than they need to be. The base of it's made out of large expanded metal. It's a little, I've actually had my motorcycle on here before, and that's probably pretty heavy too. That's over 400 pounds, that motorcycle is. So, and it does okay. Like right here, it does flex a little bit when you put some weight on it. But anyway, back to the what do you want to call it? Redoing it, I guess, because originally had. It's gonna be a lot of walking back and forth. So if I get winded, I'm sorry. I'm gonna walk over to the original axle assembly. I still have it here. My dad had dibs on it. I don't know why. He thinks he's going to use it for something, but I personally think it's junk. He claims it's out of like an old 40s Chevy car or truck. Here's a fender right here. It's an old enclosed drive shaft setup axle. That's what they had retrofitted underneath it. You can see how there was originally attached down here. They have these weird U-bolts welded on there, and they're 14-inch tires with 6-lug wheels or rims, and I was not a fan of that. They're hard to get. You can't find those anywhere. They're very special. And I was just like, nope, it has mismatched tires on it. One's a steel rim, one's like a chrome wheel off of, like, I don't know, somebody thought like a Nissan or Toyota pickup. I don't know what they're off of. I've never seen. They're 14s. That's what's weird about it. Anyway, I wanted to ditch it. They had a trailer jack and stuff on there. Well, the wheel broke, and then the jack broke, and then my dad made this, he made a wooden wheel for the little, it was a roller, like a roller style jack, which I put one of those back on there. It is handy for moving it around when you have it unhooked. And of course you got your regular 2-inch ball in the front of it, like every trailer has. But anyway, back to this trailer. Anyway, that's the axle I pulled out from underneath it. And looking online, I did some measurements and stuff, and I decided, I'm like, well, how much weight is this trailer ever going to hold? And I said, well, 3,000 pounds is probably realistic. And I wanted a 5-lug axle, and I wanted 4 on 5.5. Those rims there, if you look back at the Ranger video when I was showing you all the photos of the Ranger, which I'll show you that in a little bit, these tires here were the original rims off that truck. They are 14s, but they're a common bolt pattern. So if I ever want to go up to 15s or something like that, which I have some Jeep, like my Jeep Cherokees and stuff, they had that style rim on them. I can shove those on there, no problem. They work fine. It's a common bolt pattern. A lot of vehicles used it. And anyway, so if you can see through there, now it's just got a regular single beam axle through the middle of it. And I did something a little bit different, which it's going to be hard to see. I'll probably just have to explain to you. They had leaf springs on this trailer, but I don't know if it was too light or something. It was bouncing. They didn't like that, so they welded blocks into the springs from the frame to the spring so they couldn't compress. Well, like I said, this is another 30-pack deal. Either the guy ran out of material or he just forgot. One side had it on there, or it fell off, which is possible too. because some of the welds on here are like popcorn welds, are not very good. And I won't claim I'm an amazing welder, but I think I can do better than that. But he might have been using an old stick welder with the wrong type of rod and rusty metal, and probably was just having all sorts of problems. But anyway, like I said, it was a farm build. This came from an old farm guy who owned a farmyard, and he had this trailer, and he said, "Yeah, I can sell it to you for all that, $175 for the trailer, the mower, and the snow blade, and the snow cables for $175. I figured that was a hell of a deal. And granted, that was already 4 years ago, we'll say, about 4 years ago. Kind of right around, it was about a year after not even a year after I moved out here, because I needed a mower. So I moved out, yeah, so it would have been like 2018. You guys do the math. I'm bad at math, so you guys do the math. Anyway, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not. It's going to be hard to see. I can see it with my naked eye, but anyway, there's a leaf spring down here, and I did it above. I put the axle above it, and I ran the U-bolts down, and then I actually took some square tubing and measured the length of the leaf spring pads. Welded the square tube, and then put 2 plates on the top and bottom, and there was a hole drilled through it. I had my dad make these drop. They're basically, it's to drop the axle or raise the axle in this case, because my goal was get this trailer as low down to the ground as I can. So if I'm loading a mower up there, and I'm sure guys that own mowers, they understand this, when you get up to that point where you're off the ramps onto the trailer, it's too much of an angle. You want it to be more level. And some people are like, well, you can just drive it into a ditch or something. Well, that's not always an option. Sometimes you have to unload on a road or someplace where it's flat. If you look at this setup now, it kind of angles back. Well, now that it's on my pickup, it sits up higher.